afternoon, good evening to our love streamers and to those of you who are here in person. Welcome if you are streaming in for the first time or if you're here for the first time. I just want to give you a personal welcome to our meditation service. This is the meditation service, which is going to go for about 20 or so minutes, and then we're going to take a short little break before we move to our music and our message service, which starts at 10:30 in just about half an hour. So, if you are new to us, we are participating in a stillness meditation. And a stillness meditation, just like every other meditation, has its intention built into it. All meditation practices have an intention built into the meditation practice itself. If it's a visioning or an inquiry meditation, that's seeking providence or divine directioning. If it's a meditation of mantra or activation, that's seeking to kind of zero in on one particular eternal or divine frequency that you want to just bathe in. An eternal frequency or eternal energy such as beauty, peace, joy, harmony, love. Those are eternal qualities. And some people like to hang out in one particular vibration. Or you can do the whole spectrum. And there's the intention that comes with the meditation. And then there's the intention you bring to the meditation. I find that the meditations we bring, the intentions we bring to our meditation are pretty important. If I were going to say one of the biggest observations from most people around the globe who have a meditation practice is that they find the chattering mind sometimes wants to distract them with things like, when is this going to be over? Or what's for brunch or lunch or dinner? Or what am I going to do with so-and-so after this? So things like that, thoughts do come up that might pull us out of thoughtlessness, which is not the same as being thoughtless. It's about letting go of temporal ideas. So a couple intentions I like to just give out are A, you're going to allow this to be the most beautiful, relaxing, rejuvenating, deep and delicious meditation experience ever. We're going to also allow that no distractions, inner or outer, are going to take us from this deep and delicious experience. And there are masters around the globe who can meditate in airports, in construction zones, you name it, wherever, and they can be in the zone undistracted. So we're going to flex that muscle a little bit. One way we can help that is make sure that if you have any cellular devices, you make sure they are in either meditation mode or off, or do not disturb. At home, you're going to probably want to just do not disturb. I'm going to lead us and center us. It'll be guided centering to bring us into the zone, so to speak. Then we'll stay in silence or stillness for a little bit, and we'll come out in a wave of prayer. And that's pretty much how the meditation is going to go. Some people are seasoned, and the minute we begin, poof, they're done, and they're in the zone. And other people use the centering as a way to establish that equilibrium in their divine awareness. All meditation, regardless of what practice or lineage it comes from, is communion with spirit and moving into the wordless realms of providence and relaxation. So, without further ado, the rest will be self-explanatory. I'm going to invite you to either do this as a closed-eyed meditation, but you are welcome to do it as an open-eyed meditation if you ever want to. Open-eyed meditations, there's videos that people can get lost in open-eyed meditations like fractals or nature, things of that nature. And then there's finding one singular point to keep your eyes on. Don't take your eyes off that point. That's a one-pointed open-eyed meditation, because if your eyes wander, your mind will wander. So if you want to keep your eyes open, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to suggest probably about 98 to 99% of us are going to do it with our eyes closed. So with that being said, if you're going to close your eyes, now would be the time. ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves in our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, and as we allow the divine energies of peace, and love, beauty, and goodness, wellness, and grace to wash over us, to rise up from within us, knowing we have no place to go and we have nothing to do. We have already chosen to allow this to be the most profound, deep, delicious, relaxing, and rejuvenating experience. We take a moment as we bring our awareness to our breath and our breathing without changing it, but just becoming aware of it. Become aware of the inhalation as that soft breeze travels in through your nostrils or your mouth. The exhalation as it releases. And solely through intention. Just intending that we are allowing our breath, our breathing, to become deeper, fresher, wider, fuller, all on its own. No efforting, no trying, just allowing. Each cycle of breathing will take you deeper. For the moment, I'm going to invite you to imagine that the exhalation is the vehicle of release, of letting go. Every time we exhale, we let go of any tension, concerns, to-dos, or what was. And we allow the inhalation to be the vehicle of deepening and expansion of good. Every inhalation, drawing in the energy of peace and serenity. On the next exhalation, we let go of any and all distractions as we inhale clarity and tranquility. Exhaling, we let go of figuring and analyzing. Inhaling, we draw on the energy of illumination and providence. Exhaling, we let go of efforting and trying. Inhaling, we draw in the energy of ease and effortlessness. As your breath continues to cycle, softening and expanding, I invite you to bring your awareness to your heart center, the middle of your chest. Some feel tingles, some just have an awareness of beautiful energy of soul feel the tingles and see them as light, rising up from your ankles, through the calves and the shins into the knees, softening, strengthening, relaxing as a contagion of wellness flows through your thighs and hamstrings. All the muscles, ligaments, joints, and tissues flooding with light, illuminating from the inside out as the energy washes over us from the outside in. That energy begins to make its way into your hips, flooding the intestines with wellness, the base of the spine and lower back, kidneys, lower belly, middle back. As the energy rises, you can feel it all encompassing your midsection, your core. And as we return to the heart center, you can feel the heart expanding even more. And the energy rising into your shoulder blades, upper chest, shoulders, beginning to cascade down your upper arms to your elbows, and your palms and fingers. And as that energy floods the back of your neck, softening, strengthening the muscles, opening the throat center. Feel your divine sensorium awakening. The outer eyes merging with the inner eye. The outer ears merging with the inner ear. As that energy makes its way to your crown. It begins to ripple into your emotional body with waves of divine strength, compassion, love. And that energy begins to ripple into your mental body with waves of clarity. Moving beyond thoughts into the wisdom of inspiration and observation, divine illumination. And that energy moves from your mental body into the bliss body, the body of your soul, the divine, the infinite, the eternal. You can feel your higher self, your true self. And with each cycle of breathing, you can feel yourself rising higher, going deeper. And it is here that we allow ourselves to rest, rejuvenate, and relax in the stillness. cycle of breathing is expanding the eternal frequencies of peace, love, beauty, wellness, joy. We take a moment in deep gratitude, knowing something wonderful is taking place just by relaxing. As we come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, as we come back into a state of gratitude for this time outside of time, we take a moment and we remember the truth that there is a universal presence, that which we call the divine, the creator, the universe. We take a moment and we remember that which some cultures call Jehovah, or Yahweh, Elohim, or Adonai, Dios, or God. This presence is brilliance and beauty and love and joy as bliss. And simply by bathing in these energies, we return to our true nature. Our remembering that each and every one of us, born from the holy heart and the holy light, of infinite glory beyond our name, beyond our ego, age, gender, personality traits. The eternal light within. We allow ourselves to feel and remember that wherever we are, beauty is, good is, love is, joy is. We take a moment as we anchor these energies, feeling it coursing from our crown down through our shoulders, through our arms and torso, legs and feet, feeling a connection with Mother Earth, grounding in our bones, heaven on earth. And it's from a place of deep thanksgiving, knowing that we continue to perpetuate and allow what this good to grow and glow even more than ever before. And we simply let it be. And so it is. Amen. Whenever you feel ready, if you haven't already, you can open your eyes or keep them closed, whatever feels right and good to you. We're getting ready to shift over into our regular music and message service, but that's not going to take place for about another 5 minutes. So if you want to sit, stretch, relax, if you need to use the restroom, it's right up there. For those of you at home, same goes through for you. We're going to take a little break, and we'll keep you in the loop. We will be back.
We're celebrating someone's birthday today. Woo, woo, woo. It's somebody's birthday. All month. Reverend Kid. It's your birthday month. Good morning. Hello there. We're all sleeping, huh?
So just go within for a moment to celebrate the oneness. Celebrate that God is all that there is. And in this oneness is the many facets of expression. And one of those expressions is Reverend Keith. We just love this expression, this embodiment that Spirit is through him, as him. And we just love his exuberance and his joy, his ability to drive home a point and let us know how to live our lives. And I pass this word.
And I gratefully accept the knowing that Reverend Keith, his wit and his wisdom and his fun, his exuberance and joy, as God said, fill this room, fill this earth, and fill the cosmos. We're so grateful for his energy and knowing that he studies diligently and he shares in a lightness and youthfulness in a way that hits us all as we all are ready to accept and receive and then take these teachings, these learnings, the light that we infuse from him, embody it and take it out into the world. So very grateful of it, Pass.
I'm so grateful to speak a word of blessing on Reverend Keith's life today, knowing that his very life has been spoken on by the divine presence of God. How grateful we are inspired for all of us. Blessing Reverend Keith that he's open and receptive to all the good coming forward from him today. How grateful I am for his presence in my life. And I gratefully pass this word.
Yes, I too am so grateful for this amazing man and Reverend Keith. And I bless him on his birthday. I bless him for this whole year to be filled with peace and joy and ease, acknowledging his enthusiasm, his spirituality, that he's not only magnanimous and joyful and peaceful, but he shares this knowledge and wisdom with the rest of us so that we can be the best we can be and serve God through us. So thank you, Reverend Keith. Happy birthday, and I lovingly pass this on.
So grateful for this time to acknowledge our beautiful, wonderful, loving Reverend, making God fun. I just love that Reverend Keith makes us laugh and cry and just be filled with joy each and every time that we're together. I'm blessing you, your life, your birthday, your year, knowing that everything good is happening to you, raining down upon you, blessings, joy, love, harmony, laughter, knowing that is all yours right here and right now as I pass it on. Thank you.
In gratitude and recognition of the one power, the one presence, the one life, God. And in realization, recognition of my unity with that, my unity with all my prayer partners up here, unity with Reverend Keith. Knowing this, wow. What an amazing thing to be united in spirit. This incredible personality. How delicious is this? So I invite everyone here to just breathe in and taste the deliciousness of the beingness of Reverend Keith. And just let our gratitude for everything he brings here expand, expand, and expand. And I pass.
And continuing in this vibration of gratitude, how grateful I am that we've been blessed by the brilliance that you are, Reverend Keith. How grateful I am that we've been blessed by your inspiration, by your joy, by your love. You are an incredible blessing. You are an elegant, beautiful, brilliant expression of God. And I'm so grateful. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. Amen.
The most beautiful thing ever. I really find myself speechless. I feel, maybe you've heard me say it before, but we've got our chaplains and our practitioners, and I feel like the most proud papa, the best kids ever. And all of you, I'm truly grateful. It's truly a surprise. I mean, I was gonging and then I turned around and so thank you from the bottom of my heart. That was just the best to just lap that up in that deliciousness. I appreciate and love all of you. Thank you so much.
There is one life.
That life is God. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. I am here to receive the divine message for me. I am awake. I am tapped in. And I am transformed.
Hi, everybody. I'm
Well, I'm
Lisa
surprised
Lincoln.
because I always expect a lot of
And just a reminder, please, to turn off your cell phones or put it in meditation mode. And, oh, it's so exciting. We're having Soul Center's Angel Day. It's Sunday, October 8th, an observation of our beloved co-founder in heaven, Patricia's birthday. And in admiration of our other Soul Center angels, Alice Brown, Beth Morley, and David Oda. We will celebrate our annual Angel Day that day in their honor. And if you would like to pay tribute to a beloved angel significant to you who has made their passing, please bring a picture of them to service on that day to be placed on the front altar so we may honor all of our loved ones. Please join us on Sunday, September 17th, during and after service as we honor Soul Center's newest prayer chaplain, Liz Martin, who actually, she's lovely, Liz Martin, and she reminds me of Diane Keaton with her dazzling style. Look at her. And you guys can hear earlier, the one with the fabulous hat. Okay. And our new Agape licensed spiritual practitioners, the Blackwell sisters, Mary Jane and Harlem. Aren't sisters the best?
We're spouses, actually.
Spouses. You know what, Michelle, wrong information. Sorry, she said spouses at first, and then she switched to sisters. Lovely spouses. Aren't spouses the best? Okay, as they are inducted into the Soul Center Ecclesiastical, said it right, ministry, celebrating their commitment to spiritual awakening and excellence. Ooh, we have a new class, everybody. Mystical Origins of the Science of Mind. Yeah. This 5-week online Zoom class begins Wednesday, October 11th, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. In this class, instructed by Reverend Keith, we'll delve deeper into our spiritual practice, affirmative prayer, and knowledge of our science of mind roots and agape ancestry. Visit soulcenteroc.com's events tab. All right, don't forget about Reverend Keith's daily affirmative prayer that streams live on Soul Center's Facebook page or Zoom, 9:30 a.m. Pacific daily, except Sundays, of course. The link is in our newsletter or at soulcenteroc.com. What else do we have? A course in miracles, of course, with Akili Beckwith. It's back to Tuesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. Join anytime throughout the year, and details are on soulcenteroc.com. To stay informed about all Soul Centers, events, and news, please sign up for our weekly newsletter. We need help, of course, volunteering. Help us thrive by volunteering weekly, once a month, or now and again. Go to soulcenteroc.com, our welcome table, or see Birgit to sign up. We're also hoping for some volunteers for our 10-year anniversary celebrations in January. It's going to be some really cool events, and we really could use your help. See Jessica, Roz, Stephanie, Angelina, or sign up at our welcome table. If you're feeling like you want to be more social, I think a lot of us are introverts, and this is a good way for you to socialize without it being overwhelming. Join a soul circle in person or Zoom to grow together with others in this community by contacting Scott at soulcirclesoc@gmail.com. That's a mouthful. All right, now let's get ready to sing Soul Center's congregation song.
Our
visioning.
Soul Center visioning tomorrow. So that is where we join via phone call. You don't have to get dressed up for a Zoom. And we participate in visioning for what is the future of Soul Center OC. And this is a really important time to vision for Soul Center as we are about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. So information is on the website and the newsletter, but please join us tomorrow night for about an hour-long
7 o'clock, right?
phone conversation or phone visioning process. It's really lovely. 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
And
Anybody
the
else?
Zoom link information is on our website.
Yes.
And at the welcome table.
Anybody is welcome.
Yes.
All right, now let's do our congregational song.
Good morning. My name is Scott Cohen. Our reading today is from The Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. The evidence is abundant in all the literature of mysticism. One of the great words in this literature is detachment, meaning the relaxation of one's hold upon the testimony and experience of the senses. It speaks intimately of self-denial, even of self-annihilation, or of utter and complete absorption in the experience of union with God. Much of the emphasis upon spiritual exercises is focused upon what such exercises will enable the individual to achieve when he is able to rise above and transcend the fierce demands of the senses. These exercises are meant to ready the spirit for an awareness of the presence of God dwelling in the core of the individual's being. It is for this reason that the great emphasis is placed upon silence, on becoming still within. The insistence is not so much that something invade the life of man from without, but rather that through quietness and inner solitariness, being solitary and quiet, the individual becomes conscious of what was there all the time. The quote, "Be still and know that I am God," is the way the psalmist put it. Now let's turn within and pray. So once again, I'm just grounded in gratitude. So grateful to be here, so grateful for this day, so grateful for everyone here, and the opportunity to come together, the freedom to come together and be inspired. Inspired that God is all that there is, this one power, one presence, one life that lives and moves and has its beingness in, through, and as each and every one of us. Is our very core, our very existence, our very embodiment, our very expression. All the love, all the peace, all the joy that God is ours and our expression right here, right now. Ever present, ever loving, ever evolving. The Spirit moves across us today, and I bless that time in the oneness of Spirit. And so I bless this service, and I bless everyone involved in it, all those who helped to set up, create the space, to Reverend Keith and his delicious message, and the band and the singer, the beautiful music and inspiration that they bring us. I just bless it all. And as I bless each and every one of us here, I just simply say thank you, that it is already so. So I simply let it be. And so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Amen. Now it is time for our happy affirmations. They are in your program and coming up on the screen. I'll speak a line and then we'll all repeat them together with sincerity and acceptance. You've already risen, so let's begin. My life is God's life made visible.
My life is God's life made visible.
Dynamic, harmonizing energy vitalizes my every activity.
Dynamic, harmonizing energy vitalizes my every activity.
The sacred song of peace sings through my soul.
The sacred song of peace sings through my soul.
Health, healing, and wholeness are revealed through me right now.
Health, healing, and wholeness are revealed through me right now.
My true nature is an expression of divine love.
My true nature is an expression of divine love.
God is my courage, connection, my guidance, and direction.
God is my courage, connection, my guidance, and direction.
Life is good, and I am grateful.
Life is good, and I am grateful.
Perfect, and so it is.
And so it is.
You may now be seated. seated. Thank you. So for those of you who would like to experience affirmative prayer for a crisis or just to expand something in your life, please feel free to grab one of the either practitioners that don't have these yet, or one of the prayer chaplains out on the patio. I'm happy to pray with you. Thank you.
What's up, friends? Is it too soon? Are we friends yet?
Yes.
So, I've been doing a lot of growing, a lot of affirmations every day, realizing my authentic self. And it's, sometimes people don't love that. Like your core group, they're like, hey, wait, who are you now? Because I have to fit you into my life somehow. And so I wrote this song years ago, not thinking that it would actually apply to what's happening right now, but it does. So this song is called I'm on Fire, and it's not Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it's an original. I'm hanging on by a thread, but that don't mean I'm done, 'cause I mean what I said, and I know what I want. It's been a long time coming, I can feel it in the air, but when the storm comes, I'll be right here. But I hear condescending words from the people that I love. They keep on throwing all their daggers when they see me give it up. Stab behind your back, but then smile under the sun. Well, you can throw away your knives, friends. Not even guns will be enough to stop me when my soul is screaming. I found a reason to battle my demons. I won't keep on going with these punches. I'm not bluffing, I'm living for nothing. There's a reason we are here. I'm on fire, yeah, and I will not let you drown me. I'm on fire, yeah, and I'm gonna keep on burning so that the rain can show what I'm made of. I'm keeping tabs on my past, but I'm not my yesterday. You don't believe in who I am, then you're the fuel of my flame. It's been a long time coming. I've had a life with fits and rage, and now I'm ready to take what I know is my high. I found a reason to battle my demons. I won't keep on going with these punches. I'm not bluffing, I'm living for nothing. There's a reason we are here. I'm on fire, yeah,
love you. You know what I'm gonna say? Even more than last week. Because that's what we do here at Soul Center, is we keep growing and evolving love, growing and evolving goodness, growing and evolving the divine within your beingness. That's what it means to be a human being. You may not have known that. Maybe you missed it in the manual when you checked in the planet Earth. There was a user's manual that said you came here to have a grand and glorious adventure and to expand your experience of being in the world but not of the world, to be the true you that is beyond your name, age, race, gender, situation, circumstances, nationality, or any of the personality traits that you might have become very attached to. Some people get very attached with their personality traits. They get very attached with the way that things are going in life. And as it said in the reading, we want to be able to be detached from the world of effects so that you can experience nirvana and bliss. So welcome. Good morning, Soul Center. Good morning, Love Streamers. Welcome. I'm Reverend Keith, and I am here to rev you up. I'm here to light the fire even more than ever before, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to be lit, to be on fire with desire, the desire of your soul. And as we continue in this month of the theme of generosity, caring, and sharing in a holy way, to live from that holy vibration of generosity, of caring and sharing, that's what we do automatically, by default, when we're not in a fight or flight response. We want to make sure that we understand. Well, I'm going to share with you, years ago, this came to me in a meditation, and I call it the Hollywood effect. The Hollywood effect is becoming aware that in Hollywood, when they film a TV show or a movie, they have multiple cameras. Usually there's no less than 5 or 6 cameras, and they're all filming from different angles. So when the director goes into the editing room, they can say, oh wait, this is what captures that moment perfectly from this angle as opposed to this angle. You know that you always see a dialogue in a movie where somebody's talking and then all of a sudden you see from it, there was multiple cameras. Your life, your 360 degrees of your beingness is video, audio recording. It's recording everything. There's a dimension of your consciousness that is aware of everything that's going on around you, but most of us are only experiencing life through camera one. Through one perspective, one way, one vision. You're looking out there and you're missing things. You want to see what's going on from the footage of other cameras. Most of us are familiar with the idea that in Hollywood it's lights, camera, action. And so when we do the lights, camera, action, it means we're moving into the flow of something that's coming into creation. But we also want to remember, because you are the writer, the producer, the director, the star, everything about your life. You are the one who is in charge of that. So the topic for today is light, stamina, inaction. Light, camera, action, light, stamina, inaction. If you want your production to be the best, where you are starring in a movie that you'd like to star in. You don't want to be in the movie where, oh my God, it's like I'm the star of Debbie Downer Does Earth. You came here to be lit, to be, as Kristen was singing, to be on fire with your good. And there's ways to do that. And so from light, camera, action to light, stamina, inaction, which is really inaction, stamina, light. And what does that mean? What that means is when you move into the stillness, you can access the footage from the other cameras. You can access what's going on, but most importantly, you can access the vantage point of divine right, seeing divine right, knowing divine right, hearing divine right perception. You're not going to believe this, but there are people out in the world right now, none of us here, none of us has probably ever experienced this. I'm probably very alone in this experience, where you've misinterpreted something somebody said or done, and then gotten very upset. Maybe even got your panties in a wad over something that isn't even true. I'm certain that it's probably just me. But we want to make sure that we understand that when you move into the stillness, when you be still and know that I am, when you move into the I am consciousness, then you're able to see from a divine perspective and what that can do, because then you get to shine the light into the dark corners, the nooks and crannies, where camera one footage blocks out all of the other light, because I'm just seeing with tunnel vision. And so, for example, when I was moving through my teenage years and up into my 20s, etc., I had started to veer away from my family relationship with my dad. My dad was somebody who, at the time, I was perceiving as self-absorbed, kind of a little bit misogynistic, only interested in what was going on in his life, and only interested in my life. It was beneficial to his life, and never really asked about like what's going on in your life. Never did the hugs or the loves you, and I've shared this to some degree and other times. But the moral of the story is, at one point I decided, and everybody's going to have to decide to do this. I'm sorry to break the good news to you, but there's no way around this. You're going to be called to heal every single relationship of every single situation, of every single circumstance ever known to you. Not all mankind, just you. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of footage in those cameras that need the light shown upon it. We want to make sure that we understand how it all works. So I decided one day as I started to do my spiritual growth that I'm like, you know what? I noticed that my relationship with my dad kind of went like this. And I decided that out of sight, out of mind, you won't push my buttons if I'm not around you. It's kind of the ignore spiritual path, which of course, ignoring leads to ignorance, and of course that's not a spiritual path. But when you do that, you only lock yourself into a room, into a cell, where you're closed in and cut off from your good. Because we are to have relationships with people at the level of their personality. We're to have relationships with people at the level of their soul. And it may seem, because most of us are doing this thing where we're having personality encounters, where my trauma body meets your trauma body, and if you have something in your trauma body where that places you in the villain role, and somebody has something in their trauma body that places them in the victim role, that's where you're going to go, and you're going to see fireworks. So that was, in some degree, what was happening, except it wasn't fireworks. It was just, we've all probably had the experience where you're like, well, you know, I'm done with this relationship, and we just X that person out, and we move along to someone else. And that's what I had done with my dad. And then I decided, as I started to delve deep into spirituality, knowing that every relationship is to be sacred and holy, I said, I'm going to have a sacred, holy relationship with my dad, no matter what. And this is where I start to shone or shine the light into the nooks and crannies. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to allow myself to be inspired to do it. And I knew that it probably wouldn't be instantaneous. Some of it was instantaneous, and some of it took place to matriculate over time. While we're in space-time, you better get used to the idea that certain things are going to take time. If you came here to have instantaneous, miraculous experiences, well, yes, you can have those. But because you chose to be in a dimension of space and time, you're going to have to learn how to master space and time by bringing it into the time-space continuum. So that mastery comes from sitting in the stillness, being inactive. So I'm inactively in a space of meditation, and then I'm going to open up and see, where do I need to shine the light? And then all of a sudden, as I was asking these questions in meditation and proclaiming that I will have a holy sacred relationship, I discovered what was in the darkness. What was in the darkness of my subconscious was that I thought my dad did not love me, that I did not matter that much to him. Not 100%. It was probably about 60% of me, which is a large portion of your consciousness, was believing he was not for me, but he was against me. Because why would somebody not hug you, not say I love you, not check in on your day and see how you are doing if they loved you all the way? So my perception, my responsibility And as that light shone in, I discovered, there's what's in the dark nooks and crannies, the belief that he doesn't love me. And then it was my turn to lay an intention or state an intention. And I was like, I had already done that. I am going to want to know the truth about this. And then the Hollywood effect revealed itself. Footage from camera 2 and camera 3 started to flood in to my awareness. And all of a sudden, I started having memories of experiences with my dad that were deep and loving and profound. Nobody doesn't love you. I know there's going to be somebody out there who's going to want to argue that point. You don't know so-and-so. They really don't love you. I was working with somebody years ago who was adopted. And she was in adulthood. And she had finally decided, she had decided 1 year after, when it became available to her, that she was going to find out where her birth mother was. And so she waited and waited because there was a part in the subconscious that was afraid. As I'm assuming many adoptees might experience, like, how could somebody give me up? Now, some people will get a little bit of the story and some people won't. In this case, there was no information. It was just a teenage pregnancy. And that person decided to reach out to their mom. And once they found the mom wanted nothing to do with her. That is probably the worst thing in the world that could happen to someone. And it pushed upon these ideas, she doesn't love me. It confirmed an erroneous idea embedded in the subconscious. She doesn't love me, doesn't want me, never did, never wanted, never will. That is not true. Just because somebody is not capable at the moment, because they are so deeply entrenched in a fight or flight response of their own life, does not mean that they don't love you. It means they're having trouble accessing loving you. And so my dad had trouble accessing loving me in a way that I thought it ought to be. There's another interesting aspect of shining the light. The way you think it ought to be. Of course, the world is all according to you. You need to find out, how do you think it ought to be? Not from your egoic perspective, but from a holy perspective. What does it look like to have a sacred, holy relationship? And as the footage from camera 2 and 3 started coming in, I started getting memories that I never would have been able to access with my surface mind. I could have sat in a room all day long for 10 years trying to access the footage from my surface mind of what was in my subconscious, and I never would have grabbed at it. I would have just made guesses. The footage came in like clear, technicolor, luminescent, digital 3D footage and showed me scenes where he came into my room when I was probably around 10 or 11 years old, and I had just gotten a puppy, and the puppy was lying on my bed, and I was dozing off to sleep, and I could see clear as a bell. He walked into the door, and he just sat there with this loving gaze for his son. I never not only did I didn't know that footage existed, but I didn't let the energy associated with the footage in. When you let the energy associated with the footage in, it makes it real. It makes it tangible. We are the only ones who can deflect or defer our good. Nobody has the power. Nobody has the authority. So when you say, yes, I am going to allow myself to build stamina, spiritual muscle, I'm going to rise from an erroneous perception of something is against me, or someone doesn't like me, or that somebody is their behavior, and I'm going to rise out of erroneous ideas of worry, doubts, and fears, and I'm going to come up into the light. And then I'm going to grab that light, and I'm going to shine it where it needs to be shown so that it can illuminate the truth that sets you free. The truth shall set you free all the time. It took a little bit of time as that unfolded, and all of a sudden I started to get little glimmers of things where my dad would say something like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I never had heard that from camera web footage before. All I heard was like, from camera web footage is, oh God, what can you do for me? How can you benefit my life? And so all of a sudden I started hearing things because it opened up the spectrum and you start to see the dissolution of temporal footage and the rising of eternal footage, which is always there. And in the reading, it said something along the lines of to be still and feel into what is always there. The omnipresence of the divine is always there. Your good is always there, your wellness is always there, your joy is always there, your clarity is always there. It's always there. There's a shroud in, some of you may remember, maybe you've heard this, back in the olden days, when you had maybe an aging actor or actress that had a few lines, wrinkles, or whatever, and so they would try to make them, they'd smear a little bit of Vaseline on the lens to make them look better.
Original filter.
Today we've got Photoshop and digital technologies that can take care of that stuff, wham, bam. But in the olden days, you could kind of tell because they would look kind of like, a little blurry-ish or whatever. But most of us are trying to smear Vaseline over stuff that doesn't look so good. And we want to make sure that we step into something and say, no, I'm going to shine the light on this. I'm going to bring goodness with me everywhere I go. I want to make sure that I understand how life works. One of my favorite science guys, maybe some of you know him from PBS, Brian Greene. He is a physics professor and mathematician, and he studies everything from quantum science, string theory, you name it, M theory, string theory, same thing. But anyway, he studies all of this, and he was talking and he was sharing something of his deep wisdom and curiosity. To him, science is kind of his spirituality. And mathematicians, they know, because math is very definite. There are equations, 1 + 1 = 2. They are very absolute. And math generally does not, until you get to the quantum field, but math always, and even then, there's always a formula that gives you the answer to any given equation. Math is the language of creation. Words are, math is the language of creation that brings things into form. There are codes and formulas that bring things into form. Words are the energy of creation that bring feeling. And when you take what you'd like to bring into form and you get the mathematical equation and you bring in the feeling tone, then you're cooking with gas. Then you're cooking with solar power. You can bring those two together because words, your words, the words you either think in your mind or speak from your mouth, are power. They have the power of creation, but they have the power of creation based on the feeling in the word. When we say we speak our word, practitioners and chaplains are trained, I gotta cultivate my word. I gotta get the word that I'm speaking to have resonance, to have a vibration of the eternal, so that it's just not saying pretty words. Saying pretty words is nice, and it's a good way to start, but saying pretty words is still going to go via the law of manifestation. The law of manifestation creates at the level it was created from. So the definition that I have, my definition, not Webster's definition, my definition of discipline, my definition of being loved, my definition of sacred holy relationships is stored in my subconscious. So whatever my definition of love is going to be, some people's definition of love is disappointment or heartache or betrayal because they've been hurt from a deep love. And all of a sudden that creeps in. And so if you allow yourself to become inactive, if you allow yourself to live to the weights of spiritual mastery, and we're not working against gravity like you do at the gym, we're working against temporal energy. Worries, doubts, and fear bring us down. Love, joy, and inspiration bring us up. And sometimes to build those biceps or those quads or whatever muscles you want to build, you have to do repetitions to build it. Can you imagine we just go to the gym, okay, boom, I'm done. All right. But no, you gotta go bring it back up time and time again. You want to make sure, that's where stamina comes into the equation. Stamina means I have resilience and I have resolve. And I am not going, so with my dad, I was like, I am not giving up. I am going to go deep into a sacred holy relationship. And I saw little glimmers, and the surface mind once in a while go, that's just a coincidence. I don't know, he just was having a really good day. And then all of a sudden started moving as I said, no, not listening to camera one footage roll anymore. We're taking that and we're snipping it and it's going on the editing room floor. Or we're just gonna go into iMovie and we're gonna cut and put it in the trash. Whatever you do, however you do it, we're gonna get rid of that footage and we're gonna let the divine footage, it is miraculously, brilliantly, amazingly delicious when you let that energy in. Now I said your energy field is 360 degrees of a recording device that records everything. So that's where the footage came from. Even though I was sleeping or dozing off to sleep, I had no conscious memory that happened. But when the footage showed up, like I said, the energy comes with it. It is magnificent. So I'm going to invite you to pick anyone or anything in your life that you would like to bring into the high vibration of a sacred, holy relationship. I want you to bring this woman I was talking about. She said, see, she didn't love me. She didn't want me. And I was like, no. This is where you have to understand, in the temporal world, we use no to say, stop, get ye behind me, Satan. In this case, Satan, because we know there's no Satan, we know there's no evil, we know there's no devil. All that is a negative idea or negative thought that's trying to infiltrate your life because you chose it somewhere along the line. Not because somebody permeated your field with bad juju and put a curse on you and did all of that. That does not exist. You chose on some level to believe it. And once you choose to believe it, the universe honors your choice. That's what free will is. If you want to believe in badness, experience it. If you want to believe in all good, sacred relationships and goodness, get on the ball. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's bring in footage from other cameras and illuminate and shine that light. So we want to make sure that we understand that eternal frequencies are what change temporal experiences. You cannot do what Einstein warned us not to do. Do not try to change things in the temporal world with temporal energies, which means explaining to somebody exactly what they did wrong. That's not what you want to do. You might get a little mileage out of it. If you have an enlightened person in your life and you explain to them what they did wrong that made you feel bad, if they're enlightened, they'll say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I would never mean to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Let's find a way to just be absolutely in a sacred, holy relationship. But most people, when they hear, this is what you did that wronged me, then now I'm going into my animal field of fight or flight, and I'm going to be in a defensive mode, and I will defend myself because I've just been attacked. So unless you're surrounded by a whole bunch of very evolved people, you have to evolve. You have to step into your mastery. You have to make sure that your spiritual stamina keeps building, and that means you got to take some of your downtime, some of my time that I go to Starbucks, or some of my time that I go do, and you got to make sure, because I'll tell you why. Well, let me finish this sentence first. You got to take some of that, get all ahead of myself. You got to take some of that time and you got to devote it to your spiritual practice. Why do you have to take some of your good time to do that? Because if you wait till you're triggered, you're not going to do it. If you say, I feel so good right now. Now the temptation is, I feel so good right now. Why would I want to ruin that by thinking about so-and-so and making our relationship better? I'm just going to get all mad all over again. No, you're going to shine the light and you're going to bring it into a sacred vibration. And when you allow the footage, no matter who it is, from the other cameras to come into your awareness, where you're like, this is what makes it easier. You're going to see where, oh God, that person, they didn't like me. They didn't love me. They didn't care. They don't think I matter. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see the footage where they do. And then it's going to make it real. And then you're going to go, now I can do it because it's real. Most people don't do very well with a faith that is so far-fetched that it doesn't seem real. Now, some people can do very well where I'm going to stay in faith and I am not going to be moved. I will be unwavered in my desire of fulfillment of whatever it is, of achieving this role in life, of achieving this adventure, of achieving. All of us are going to open. I'm going to invite all of you to open up and let the divine footage of revelation, realization, inspiration, and the absolute truth to illuminate your minds about everyone. You don't have to do everybody all at once, but you're going to pick one person that you want to either, maybe it's good, and you want to go from good to greater good, or maybe it's like, and I want to bring that, and even if it's somebody who's no longer in your life anymore, because we've parted ways, we've agreed to disagree. Now you're going to agree with the divine. You're going to agree with the divine with your soul, and you're going to make everything sacred because you're going to shine the light. That's the way we rock and soul. That's the way we bring the behoove groove into an expanded level of goodness. That's the way we build spiritual stamina. That's what we're doing, yes?
Yes.
All right, we're all on board for that. And the other piece of this equation is you're going to let it in. Because I remember when the footage started coming in, there was a little part of me, when that footage / energy starts coming in, it's going to feel a little wonky. It's going to feel like, ooh, I've never really felt that depth of love from someone. And you might want to just be like, nah, you might want to push it away. Don't do it. You are not going to do it. As tempting as it is to want to push it away or slam on the brakes, you are not going to do that. You're going to just go, you've seen me do that before? I do that a lot because it's how it feels. It really feels. When you are transcending into a different way of being, you're going to be different. And it's, sometimes there's this like, oh, wow, I just feel so much more freedom, so much more joy, so much more love. I feel amazing. But if it's passing through resistance, it's going to be, and you're going to go, and you're going to let it happen, and then all of a sudden, you're going to go, woo, that was a close one. But it worked. It worked. And now, as with my dad, as with certain friends from high school, as with people that have betrayed me, as with Joe Blow down the street, all of a sudden, I'm like hearing things like, oh my God, my dad was like, I love you. I love you. I want to do more with you. I love when you're around, hugging me. It's like, oh, who is this man? It's the real him. It's the real deal. So you don't want to miss out on that. You want to check it out and give it a whirl, and then you can give me a testimony on how it works. But do not. One person I was sharing this with years ago, she goes, oh, I did exactly what you said, and then I saw them the next day, it didn't work. I was like, okay, did you really open up to divine receptivity? Were you really seeking and finding, number one? And I was like, okay, let me check. You got to check in, you got to check yourself. And then number two, maybe more than one time. You got to let it build. The law of growth stipulates that things unfurl and unfold over time. And so when you go, as you've heard me say before, from space-time to time-space, if you want to expedite things, not from an impatient way, but from a patient way, from a faithful way, from a trusting way, then you will allow yourself to shift. That's where, when we move into inaction, we shift out of space-time and into time-space, and that's where you can witness, and that's where the footage is, and that's where you can illuminate and accept your good. We are going to do that, yes?
Yes!
All right. Then we are going to go ahead and move into prayer, and I'm just going to invite you to think of somebody, anybody. It might even be somebody you don't even know yet that you'd like to have a relationship with. It could be your next soulmate. It could be the soulmate. It could be an adventure partner, your BFF. It could be a relationship you're in that's good. You just want it to be better, more authentic, more pure. Remember, you're going to infuse the words with the energy and the frequency of what you truly desire. Don't take what you truly desire and throw it in the trash basket. You want to make sure that you are proliferating. I proliferate my good. That's what we're going to say yes to. So I'm going to invite you to join me as we tune and turn within in this moment. Oh, how good it is to know that there is an intelligence and a love that is so profound, so delicious, that loves you, that knows you, that absolutely rejoices in your beingness, that we call God, that we call the omnipresent, omniamorous intelligence back of all life, that only loves at a level that will curl your hair if it's straight and straighten if it curled. It will take you and allow you to move into the light of joy. We take a moment, we know it is God's good pleasure to make all things new. We return to the beginning, to the great knowing, the great truth, the great remembering that the omniamorous nature of life itself, life, bliss, good, God, all synonymous with the magnificence of your life. We take a moment remembering what it means that we are born from the holy heart, the holy mind, the infinite glory of God Almighty. And whether we say Elohim Almighty, Dios Almighty, whether we say Adonai, whether we say Allah or Jehovah or Yahweh Almighty, the universe Almighty, the Creator Almighty, it is all the same. Bliss, brilliance, beauty, goodness. We open our hearts, our bodies, our emotions, our minds into a benevolent state of vulnerability and availability that we may strengthen in the spirit, that we may be lifted to a higher, greater, grander experience of bliss, beauty, and joy than ever before. We allow all relationships to be made whole and pure. We allow all situations to be rectified in harmony, reverence, kindness, generosity, and respect. And we allow a relationship with ourselves to see ourselves, know ourselves, and love ourselves as God knows, loves, and sees us. As brilliant angels of the Most High, one with the divine. Oh, how good it is to know that we have everything we need, and that there is a burgeoning footage and energy of infinite glory that is seeking to reveal itself to you. It awaits your yes. And we say yes today. Show me my good. Show me the love that is seeking to bless and caress me. Ah, how good it is to open to this and allow it to have its way this day and unto forevermore. Glory to greater glory, good to greater good. We accept it so as we speak our word with sincerity, willingness, and divine receptivity. And as we release this prayer, we allow it to fulfill itself, returning to us absolutely blossomed and bloomed in all of its highest glory. And we accept it by saying, and so I let it be.
So I let it be.
And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
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 Ashe. Aho. Mahalo. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah. All right. It's time for our usher angels to come forward. That is for our conscious time of circulation and tithing. For those of you who are here in person, these beautiful, wonderful angels of the earth are going to come forward. And if you have a tithe or a donation that you would like to put in the basket, whether it's cash or checks, you can do it that way. And then if there's a different way you'd like to do that, and for those of you streaming in live right now, there are several different ways you could do that. You can text the word GIVE to area code 669-342-2157. You can hit the donate button or the give button from our website. You can also Venmo at Soul Center OC under the business heading. All of this is tax deductible, and all of it is received in absolute gratitude and circulation. And with that, I'm going to have my beautiful angels go forward and take it away.
Okay, well, way to be on fire with that one, Rev. That was my first one. Thank you. I'm live and down. Perfect timing. I wrote this song years ago called Change. Be the change you wish to see in the world, which is a really nice tagline. It's so great. But then becoming it That's a whole different ballgame, and it's a continuous thing, right? All the triggers, all the cameras, and what you were saying. I'm still looking at cameras where I was like, oh, I thought that footage was good. Okay, it's not good. We'll come back to it. So, yeah, that's all I got to say there. Lay back, take it easy. Don't let your mind overwhelm you when you feel the world's gone crazy. I was running into walls, I couldn't really see it all. I was blinded by my apathy and self-inflicted suffering, so I turned on my TV to see a different reality. But they told me I should live in fear, and they gave me reasons I should be. Then I heard a voice whisper softly, pulling me to listen deeply, rest from within. And now that's where I live, 'cause I'm not waiting on the world to change for now. Though I must be the change, and I'm not waiting on the world to change when I know that I am the change. So I turned off those radios and all those television shows. I'm too within the spirit to let the God times roll. And I see my reflection from the deepest point of view. There's no outside resource dictating what I do. I'm slow to anger, slow to judge, and I don't worry all that much. The darkness doesn't scare me when I'm aware of all this love. 'Cause I'm not waiting on the world to change for now. Though I must be the change, and I'm not waiting on the world to change when I know that I am the change. I won't miss another
your hands. We take a moment as we all come together in this field of ever-expanding good. Ah, how good it is to just take a moment and return home, to the beginning, to the infinite source, the infinite supply that never withholds and never restricts, never judges. We know that God Almighty only loves and praises and raises, blesses, and caresses everything in goodness. That is the nature of life, that is the nature of God, that is the nature of our soul, that is the nature that we have said yes to today. We are shining the light in all the nooks and crannies. We take a moment as we bless this offering, knowing that all that has come in is entering into a realm of circulation of ever-expanding good. It is not coming from a finite supply, it is coming from an infinite supply, and it returns multiplied as we allow it to. And we are allowing it to circulate and come back to us fulfilled individually and collectively. How grateful I am to know that all needs are met. For Soul Center, for each one of you streaming in, for each one of you here, for all of our brothers and sisters around the globe. We give thanks as we bless this offering, knowing, as it says on the promissory note, in God we trust. And we trust in all needs met, and we allow it to be, and so it is.
So it is.
Now we're going to invite our two practitioners to come forward and close our service. Again, we are going to be honoring our Rev. So in closing, I'd like you guys to continue holding your hearts through your hands, but towards our beautiful Rev as we celebrate him.
As I breathe in this holy energy, it was just in awe and gratitude for this wonderful community. For Jessica and Patricia, who said their divine yes. I'm grateful for Reverend Keith that came forth to do his divine yes. I'm grateful for every single person that showed up here today with their divine yes, knowing that they are changed. We are all changed. Recognizing this presence, this wonderful, infinite source of everything. And I recognize it, knowing that I am one and each and every one are one with it. And I am so thankful for this day. I'm thankful for this Rev next to me who revs us up every week.
Yes.
The fire that just, he is on fire every week. And I am so very grateful for this and thankful. And I pass to my sweet sister.
Gratitude, I'm just so grateful for this beautiful day that we can be together and freedom, the technology that we're all together. I'm so grateful for Reverend Keith, just knowing that the day that he chose to come to the planet, that he was saying like yes. I am so grateful for his divine yes, Patricia and Jessica, and everybody else's divine yes that has made this service, this experience today, just knowing that there is only one thing happening ever, and that is the love of God.
Yes.
The one power, the one presence, the one creativity that permeates through this entire universe. As me, as Reverend Keith, as all of us, God is, we are. And so just so thankful for the message today. All of it was the message. From the music to the meditation to the affirmations, of course, to Reverend Keith's blessed message, just blessing him, blessing this year that this is his best year, best day ever. And blessing all of us knowing that this is our best day ever. Just so thankful we go forth with this message and we allow it to be. Amen.
Amen.
Just a quick note, for all the other September birthdays, I'm loving up on YouTube. Just so you know, if you see Birgit, you can get on our birthday roster. You may have noticed in our newsletter we acknowledge all of you. Love streamers, we want to acknowledge your birthdays too. So just send an email if you get it from our newsletter, and we will put you in our newsletter. We've got all the September birthdays in there. We had all the August. So get on the list so we can honor all of you and celebrate you too. And thank you so much for everything. I love you all. And we're going to do our closing song. So please rise. The words that you want to sing along are in your program. Oh, I'm so grateful for all the love, and that each one of us has said yes to a greater and more grander experience of brilliance and beauty than ever before. We allow the brilliance of God Almighty as our lives almighty. Grateful for this day, we let it allow ourselves to go forward, be fruitful, and multiply our good in every way, shape, and form. And we simply say yes by saying, and so it is.